Welcome back to the Canada Specialist Program series. So lovely to have Lizzie back with us today, our local representative for Team Alberta. Lizzie, over to you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And I will be taking you through Alberta, one of my favorite places in Canada and a place that I have visited many times. So I will take you through today like an overview of how to package together, how to sell it, and some key takeaways. And I'm very happy to answer any questions at the end as well. And or in between, if you need to put your hand up and do the chat, we can do that as well. So let's start with where we are located. So, map of Canada here. We neighbour British Columbia, which makes Alberta perfect for Western Canada combinations, which is pretty much what Australians do when they come over. They will usually do both those provinces combined. So it just gives you a little bit of geography on where we're located. And also, too, you can see above subarctic regions of the Northwest Territories and Yukon. So really great aurora add-ons as well for Alberta. And and then we will move on to Banff National Park. So Banff National Park is the mothership, I say, of Alberta. It's the core, it's the heart, it's central where everybody wants to go and tick off. So I like to spend a lot of information here for you on really navigating this park. And the best thing to start with is understanding that the park is called Banff National Park, but there is Banff and Lake Louise that sit in Banff National Park. Two towns. One is an alpine hub, being Banff, pictured here on the left. The other is Lake Louise, which is more of a hamlet. It's more like a little village. When you stay in Lake Louise is about the destination where you're staying that becomes the experience. So you really have to choose for your client the accommodation that is of great interest because that's usually where they're going to dine or where they'll have their activities from. There's not a central shopping town like this. This little hamlet here only has a very minor grocery store, a bakery, a retail outlet, a lolly store, and a liquor store. That is it. So it's really important to know the difference between the two towns. They're 45 minutes apart, and most of the tours and leave from Banff, not Lake Louise. So I'll take you through that information as well. But you do not want to miss Lake Louise. It's iconic. It's where the absolutely beautiful lakes are, and we'll get to that information too. So getting around is one of the most common asked questions by travel advisors. Regularly asked, how do I need a national park pass? How do I get the national park pass if I'm driving? Do I need to pre-purchase it? It's Banff and Jasper, which I'll get to, have transfers for everything. So you don't need a car if you don't want to take a car. There's also like your touring companies that tour through these areas. But if you do have clients that do choose to self-drive, and they are, yes, you do need a national park pass. Unless you're this year, if you're traveling between June and September on set dates, Parks Canada are comping the parks passes throughout Canada for national parks. So you won't pay, but if it's before certain dates in June and September, you do need one. And both the Tourism Jasper and the Banff-Lake Louise website have links on there on the trade sites, which will be at the end of my release presentation. You can screenshot and it will show you where you can get the pass. The best thing to do is get a Discovery Pass, and the Discovery Pass covers both parks. Now, getting around in Banff, there is a public transport bus called Roam, or there's taxis. But in Lake Louise, there is no taxis, so they're very rare, and it would be something booked or like well in advance, and it's just not something you can call on. So don't rely on it in Lake Louise. In Lake Louise, you need to be doing a tour to Lake Louise, or if you're staying in Lake Louise, use one of the hotel's shuttle services, which I'll get to. If you're skiing, there's free shuttles with the ski buses. But the big takeaway from this slide would be when you're joining the two towns for an FIT self-built itinerary with Banff and Lake Louise, and your Australian wholesale partners would know this as well. There's only one company, and it's Brewster Express. So when you're planning, if you do a lot of planning before you go to your wholesaler, look up the Brewster Express site, have a look at their timetable, and just see where they go westbound, eastbound, so you can actually work out times and etc. for your clients when you're joining the two towns. And I would say at least 5 nights in Banff and at least 2 to 3 in Lake Louise. So what people are coming for in summer are these famous lakes, Lake Louise and Moraine Lake. And I like to pull them out and touch on them because it's not as easy to see them in summer as people think, because Parks Canada want to avoid over tourism and they want all your clients to have a really good experience. So the best way to see them is if you're staying in Banff, do a tour from Banff. They take in both parks and they've got full access to them. Driving is a little bit harder. So unless you're a guest at the Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise, you cannot drive there. And no matter what, you cannot drive to Moraine Lake at all. It's closed to vehicle access. So for your self-drivers who are in Lake Louise, their best option if they're staying at a non-Fairmont property, which is on Lake Louise, for example, would be to book with Fairview through the Lake Louise Inn, or Moraine Lake Shuttle, which also operates as well from that area. And they'll pick up from the little hamlet of Lake Louise, that little village. So, and that's just across the road from the Mountaineer Lodge, which is in Lake Louise as well. So just make sure you do your homework on visiting these lakes if you're wanting to build the itinerary for your clients yourself. And winter, that doesn't matter for Lake Louise. You can drive up and there's transfers and it's not a problem for winter. It's just avoiding the over tourism in summer. And Moraine Lake you can't see in winter at all. So next is I will send cheat sheets, or Charlie has links to them too, which is also going to show you all the variety of accommodation you've got in this national park, because you've got everything from a self-contained cabin to a wilderness stay to a downtown resort, kitchen properties, you name it, we've got it. And of course, we've got the famous Fairmonts as well. So this will just give you an idea of all the different properties you can choose from. All of these will be covered by your preferred wholesale partner in Australia, because Banff is very well covered in the Australian market with our wholesale partners. So no problem there. Likewise with Lake Louise, just some of the properties in Lake Louise that are self-drive only, you might need to really do your research on. If your client says, I want a cabin in the wilderness, like Baker Creek here, that is self-drive only. No transfers, not even the Brewster Express goes there. So just understanding the limitations with some of the Lake Louise properties. The only ones that have transfers would be the Fairmont, Lake Louise Inn, and Mountaineer Lodge. All the others don't. And Deer Lodge at the moment is getting renovations, so that's not included. But again, just doing that homework, and also remembering in Lake Louise, your property becomes your destination. So choose wisely. And if they did want to spend more on a property to make sure they had a better experience, where there's less to do, you'd spend it in Lake Louise than Banff. So even if it was down to the Fairmonts, I would say put your clients in the Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise if they only had budget for one, and choose a different property in Banff, because there's so much to do in Banff. They're not going to spend as much time in their property as they are in Lake Louise. All right, then we've got activities. So this cheat sheet that you'll get will show all the activities that you can do summer, winter, year round, because there is an array of activities. But there's also small group tours too, that if you didn't want to break the itineraries up, do them more independently, these small group tour providers can take that to all these activities, again supported by all the trade partners in Australia. But I just wanted to show in this cheat sheet that you'll get, there's so many options. I'm going to venture slowly into Jasper National Park now. So I need to show you that the Icefield Parkway is what connects the two parks. And what's really important is just understanding that in winter, unless you're very confident on winter snow, looking at the picture here, do use the Sundog transfer to go on the Icefield Parkway. And the glacier there, it's not open in winter. So understanding that as well with the Icefield Parkway. So Jasper. We're now in the beautiful town of Jasper. A lot of people ask me if Jasper's recovered from the fires. It has recovered. You will see a lot of burnt trees when you go there, but it's the heart and nature that has come out, and everybody still loves it, and the community is warm. Lots of people are going, and everybody who goes just feels that they want to come back and support and endorse tourism there. So all the hotels are still operational, restaurants are operational, activities are operational. A little tip for Jasper, if you're going in on Rocky Mountaineer or Vera, make sure you've got your accommodation sorted if it's not a package, because it's a very popular little town. And it's bigger than Lake Louise as a hamlet, but there still is a limited places to stay. So you really do need to make sure that you've got your accommodation. And this will all be in the cheat sheet for you. as will the year-round attractions for you as well. One of my favorites in Jasper would be the wildlife tour, definitely worth doing that. And they also put in the history of the fire. And then our gateway town of Calgary. Calgary is really important because it is obviously our the gateway, but it's important for you guys to know too that we need to get beyond the airport. If flights come in late at night, people go, "Oh, I'll just stay at the airport and head off to the Rockies." This town is a culinary delight. The restaurants are amazing. There's Western culture downtown. There's so much to see and do in this town. And I would also say too, I've put an accommodation page in the cheat sheet, which you'll get to show the amazing variety of accommodation. You don't need to be limited at the airport. There's so much you can do, and it's a walkable city. All the activities are pretty much in walking distance. Some of my favorites being Alberta Boot Company, which has the history of all the boots made for Stampede, and the brand new Sam Centre, which is a year-round Calgary Stampede attraction. And we can't go past the Calgary Stampede, of course, the very popular 10-day rodeo and evening show and grandstand show. This place is so popular for Australians, and you really want to get amongst the Western culture. They say if you have a tie there, it'll be cut off. So it's very, very much a fun, big agricultural show that is worth adding on for your clients. Winter also has lots of great activities in Calgary to do. One of my favorites, if you had to pick one, would be the Calgary Flames ice hockey. Definitely get tickets. Look up when it's on. It's usually weekends, and try and have your time in Calgary when you actually can enjoy the ice hockey. Now, Calgary also too is a place that can be seen as hub and spoke for southern Alberta, because all these places listed on the screen really do not have great accommodation linked with them, other than Waterton. Waterton does, but the others, it's pretty much truck stop places. So be it Dinosaur Provincial Park, Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump, or Drumheller, I would recommend the drive being just to and from Calgary in southern Alberta. But please also know too, there's absolutely no transfers to any of these places in southern Alberta. Take away the Canadian Rockies, there is, but all the south, there are no transfers. So big takeaway. And if you wanted to take a photo of the trade sites, this is where you'll get your, oh, you are going to get agent cheat sheets, but this is where you'll get your information on all of the parks passes, how to get around, where to stay, but you will get the cheat sheets as well. So, Charlie, that is a wrap on our Calgary and Rockies
A quick
presentation.
tour of the Rockies and Calgary, which, yeah, obviously such a big draw card for Canada. So you had some amazing tips in there, and the cheat sheets will be out as well.